one of the biggest clashes is that when we deal with knowledge of self in general, we tend to confuse rules and laws. You know, and some things haven't been proven as laws, as rules, as laws, and they're still rules. You know, so some.
Can you build on that? Yeah.
Again, the biggest clash is always the mathematics, right? Culture freedom, power refinement, right? I find when people say use freedom only when you get to 40, that is not a law. That is a rule. There is no, nothing will blow up. Nothing major will cave in and destroy us. No one will use freedom before 40 and be completely wrong about every single thing that he does. Because mathematics is not a magic spell. The Father didn't create supreme mathematics and then create the universe. He realized he created the universe and then made mathematics as the teaching tool to express how it was done. You see? And then we have the benefit that when we create, we can be in accord with that whole process beforehand. As say, like before we lost the knowledge of self, as we really once were. Right? We could be as we once were again. But that's a rule. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm saying that it's a rule. It doesn't mean that
it's not a law.
It's not a law.
Well, can you just simply break down like the difference between a law and a rule? And as you see,
for us, though, a definitive law is knowledge before wisdom. You know, this is a clear law because we know that if you do the knowledge, right, if you absorb information and ideas, then you automatically are going to use them, wisdom. But if you try to wisdom and presuppose that you think you have a mastery or know about the information beforehand, then you've done the wisdom knowledge. So it says someone says, don't do the wisdom knowledge, don't wisdom knowledge. Then that is not a rule, that's a law. It has been pretty much shown and proven. But not so with, you know, use culture or 40. That's really a homage to the Father's degree and everything.
Right.
It's not really much of something I hold true. If someone says, and mind you, refinement is in the mathematics that I teach, but if someone said that, you know, refinement is an actual fact, it's a law, it has to be in there, not necessarily so. Again, I think both those words, but especially refinement, it's a teaching tool. And when the Father saw that people weren't understanding what power really meant, then he had to add something as a supplement. And that's why when I give out my mathematics, it doesn't have or. I think or is the biggest mistake in the mathematics. Because it's not or. It's not or means you could use either or. And no one says, hey, today's refinement day.
Right.
Today's freedom day. We don't do that though. Culture and freedom are not opposites. Power and refinement are certainly not opposites. So why are they meshed there? They're meshed there for supplementation.
Build orders.
Yeah, build and destroy are pretty much opposites, but build can stand on its own because when you build, what was previously there is destroyed. So it's inferred, and so it could be there either or, but you still, because we deal with the idea that mathematics only adds by positive actions, then that means that destroy is not necessary to be in there either. So all these words are supplemental. They're a teaching tool. They're to help you understand how we deal with creation. And then on a deeper level, how we deal with ourselves, right? Because I always say it's the law and order of the universe. And that's creation. But it's also the what and how does the original man, woman do? You know, how does God do? How do we do? You know? And so it's really annoying. Like you don't go through mathematics and in 7 you become God. Like I did it, I'm finally God. That's why I would say it's a reaffirmation of rejuvenation. Like you kind of go through the process and you reaffirm yourself. And that rejuvenates you and you continue and now you can build and change things and fulfill something, born. So that's why I always had select words I use to teach the mathematics, you know?
Like 7 at one point it was a law of God.
Right.
And it's not.
Right. Yeah, I don't.
It's not a law or God.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a law or God. Yeah, but it's just God now. Like for most people's mathematics, and I agree with that. You I don't see, a problem with that. But I see those as details of creation, and they're highlights. They're punched highlights. Nothing happens while we stop in wisdom, stop and understand, stop in culture. They're ebbs and flows through the mind, 1, 2, 3, outside of the body, 4, 5, 6, and then the fruit of it all. Who we are, what we've done, and what we, how we do, and what we've achieved. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've always taught it like that: the inner, outer, and the fruit. That's a basic thing. It doesn't mean that it always stays that way when you analyze it. But because of that, I've always tried to take things like, what is a rule? What is a law? What are we doing rigidly? What has to be shown and proven? And that's that's the thing. So in my mathematics, I've always had the second words, 4, 5, and 8 in parentheses instead.
Right.
For me, grammatically, that is correct.
Grammatically.
Because
there's a lot of grammatical errors in 120.
Right. But there shouldn't be in Supreme Math.
Right.
Because we made that up.
If Mecca did this,